Fuck, there goes my bus. I was just waiting there at the bus stop. Yep, bye-bye bus. Alright, well, anyway, still sitting there. Yep, bye-bye. I'll get the next one. Or, there's also the alternative to, God damn it, that's not working either. Fuck. Anyways, I'm gonna walk down maybe a few blocks because there's the row houses that have been here ever since like the 40s that I was always talking about. Damn, fucking crippled hand. So I'm here in an empty lot, as you can tell. You see, oh, there's the bus going the other direction. See, we're right here on the main thoroughfare. This is called 12th Street. God damn it. You know what? Since put that down, I'll fucking forget it or some bullshit. Okay, so a minute of watching me fuck around and not even be able to get the fucking joint lit, watching me miss the fucking bus, trying to make a 3-minute video about all the empty lots. Now, here, check it out. See right over there. That's the what the toilet sits on. That's like the plumbing. So I'm actually sitting in the bathroom. It's like you caught me with my pants down. But there's no walls or any building here because you see there used to be. Maybe I'll walk around. I can just walk through. I walked underneath that fucking fence with this knapsack on, all the camping gear. Could have just walked right through. Can you see that? There's no development sign. They're not doing anything here. Right on the main street, the commercial drag. Can you see the tattoos place? There's a bunch of businesses with the for sale, for lease. There's apartments that say for rent. This place it was all these little 3-story walk-ups. 2, 3, 4 stories, 10, 12 apartments. New West used to have a lot of rental apartments, a lot of cheap rentals, cheaper, more reasonably with the working class, what the normal blue-collar types. I mean, you'd have to have a decent job or a regular job and be making, decent money, and then you could afford. It's a nicer area. There was times when there was lots of drug addicts, and there was times when the older buildings, they were such cheaper rent that it was the older buildings that the welfare bums and the drug addicts would move into. But they weren't generally the apartment buildings. They would be like a house that had been subdivided into different floors and different one side or the other, or duplexes with the rentals. So there was still they largely cleaned it up because of for the property, the rental rates, right? They did a big, blitz through the city in the 90s and cleaned it up, and it's been cleaned up more or less ever since. They push all the problems to Surrey, and all the problems have now been coming from Surrey and showing up here. But I could show you a whole bunch. I walked by, I don't know, more than that, less than 10, 6, 7, 8, 9, probably more like 7 or 8 or 9, just empty lots. Now, these ones that I walked by, they're more like an individual house. So I walked by probably 2 or 3 other ones like this. If I walk straight up this street by about 4 blocks, I can find you 3 or 4 more lots just like this. In fact, I know where there's like at least 2 on the same block. I think it's like the corner lot and then a couple of businesses and then a lot in the middle. About this size that you could just. So why can't they build houses, folks? Why do we have a housing shortage? We don't. We never have. They've got a population shortage. We were building. That's all we would do. We would build houses, and these multiplex apartments. As I've shown you on previous videos, those are the apartments that are 100% empty. Maybe you put up a 30-story tower, there's maybe as many people living in that 30-story tower as there was when the 3-story walk-up with 24 units, 34, 35, 36 units was filled up. Just absolute bullshit. I was talking to someone yesterday and I was telling them about the construction sites and the empty lots, and they've lived in Vancouver all their life, but they're older and senile and they won't. No, I've seen work. No, you've seen road work. You've seen road work construction that seems to delay you. You've seen people with the yellow jackets and the signs out in traffic. You haven't seen work on the actual construction sites because they're all shut down, or putter work, busy work. It's just the general contractor there, and they have to be there doing putter work because the development company's trying to secure more financing because they're in receivership. There's a lot of whatever the projects, the developers, they've had to take on, they can't sell those final 30% of the units. So now the financing companies are taking them over and saying, okay, well, we have assets. And they're talking about this. They're talking about this on the real estate, on the news channels. Hey, we can't even sell that. They are way so overbuilt. And everybody's moved off. A whole bunch of the foreigners have foreigned off back to foreign town, and they're not here anymore. A whole lot of people, I believe there was like probably tens of thousands, they left the Lower Mainland and they just headed to Cowtown just this spring. No jobs here? Okay, let's go to the next place. Calgary, Edmonton. Ooh, Edmonton's going to be a little bit colder. Maybe they went to Calgary. And what does Calgary say? Oh, look, we have a whole bunch of people here still competing for real estate. Why not? If you had real estate here, you had any equity, you could sell out and buy the house outright, you know, in the suburbs or whatever, and start renting it out right away. And the people that were fleeing from here looking for work, they would have shown up and rented your place. But not in Vancouver because everybody's leaving. And I don't know how long this one's been here. Maybe a couple of years, maybe a couple of summers. But there's nothing going on. They didn't even do a full demo, and they haven't done the excavation or the remediation of the ground. It's not just a big flat. They still got all the, as you can see, some of the plumbing still left behind. So they did the cheapest job they possibly could, and they're not paying for fence rentals. They got this bullshit. They're not paying for any security or cameras. You just, like, this is what I'm saying, that other than the fact that it's a fucking concrete slab, why not show up here right on Main Street, set up a fucking tent village? Well, it's private property. I'm saying we get this letters, which is forged letters. Herschel P. Goldstein gave me permission to camp out here. There was another one. See, the reason why I came across the street, because there's another one back in my buddy's neighborhood. He didn't even know it was there. He just goes by on his bike, clueless. It's like, you don't notice? If it's a tooth, if somebody's missing a tooth, you notice right away. If there's a whole row of houses there, and then all of a sudden there's one missing, you just gloss over it. All they do is put a tree, put a fence. It's not, but it's block after block. In the, what are we at here? This is like 7. So to get up to 10th, every block, it's like a triple block, a double block. So there's always one more street in the middle in between the numbered ones. So I don't know, 5 blocks, let's say, to get up to 10th, even though we're on 7th. Kind of weird, I understand that, folks. I bet you easily as many as I have on this hand. That's how many. I could find you 4 or 5, maybe even 6 empty lots just like this on one side of the street or the other. The part I really want to go to is down the hill a little bit, because that's where they have these houses that are actual row houses, and it's like the comparison to that's all they've been building, but then they put an island in the kitchen, and you get one of those the sink taps that you can pull out and then switch it, and it turns on, like, so you've got some $600 or $700 plumbing fixture instead of just a normal tap that you could buy for $115 or $135. That doesn't make it a luxury condo, because as soon as you start fucking, cutting out the walls and shit, you realize this shit was made by fucking, as soon as you look at where the drainage is, they've had these fucking, the imports, they didn't even know how to speak English. They're illiterate in their original language. They're uneducated. They've got probably basically, like, at best a high school, equivocal to a high school entry level education. And you said you needed them to work on your houses. And these houses were all luxuries, and they were all $1 million, multi-million dollar fucking shit boxes of leaky fucking housing that none of the pipes drain properly. Oh, they used to be able to. Somehow when this thing was built in 1965, they knew how to put the fucking slope in and have the shit drain and the pipes work. Not anymore, because you couldn't get a job working at the luxury place. No, they needed the imports, and so the inspectors were looking the other way. And now nobody wants to live here because everybody knows we're in another leaky condo scandal. They're not telling you about it on the local news, but they'll tell you about it if you're in fucking New Zealand or some fucking bullshit like that. The people on the news will talk about stuff like that and be like, what a ripoff this shit is. Look at the ripoff we went through in our own market. That's how you know it was fake. You don't have the same economy. The economies of scale are completely different. The resources are completely different. The location's completely different. Why was the property market? Well, I mean, different months and stuff like that, because same problems as the New Zealand, the Australian property market. Once the Chinese started laundering all that funny money they made up, and then you have the same problem. But it's like that in Seattle after they closed down the bullshit here in Vancouver. And so it's this whole worldwide phenomenon, but it's not. It's a fucking manufactured crisis, and don't believe them when they tell you we have a lack of housing. There is 2, 3, 4, probably maybe even as many for everybody who's still alive and beds down in the cities of Vancouver and Burnaby, and there's probably that many empty condos and empty houses and for sale stuff. Maybe even just 5 empty condos for every person who's like sleeping there tonight. Maybe it's with all the empty lots and with all the houses and all the stuff that's for sale and all the stuff that's empty or soon to be empty and stuff, that's the number. But it's irrational to do any more house building until we do a head count and until we kick down some doors and find out who the fuck is living here. And it's all companies. It's all a scam. The individuals in the market, they're falling off, like dropping like flies. It's the big corporations, the ones that Brookfield owns a share in. How many years do you think this thing's going to sit here? There's no development sign, there's no fence. I'm giving it well past the 2030s. I bet you maybe there'll be something here by 2040. Might be. And it's a main street on a thoroughfare in a commercial area that ever since like 1850s, this was the main drag. There was horse reshoeing, feedlot, trading post shit here 200 fucking years ago. And it's always been here. And then all of a sudden, in the last 15 or 20 years, it's more like 30 ramping up to the last 15. It's too expensive, it's too valuable because they've borrowed more money than it's ever actually worth off of this as saying that it's an asset. It's too expensive, it's too valuable to ever build on, to ever have commercial anything go on here, to ever have anyone live here on top of a commercial. This part of the town was way before a lot of other parts. It was always a pump and dump. Anyways, I don't know if I should go down the street. I gotta go down the street anyway. I've been meaning to make a video from these places. They are like actual cookie cutter row houses on the main drag, still here, probably built 40s or 50s, like opened up 1950. As soon as the Second World War was over, they started to put the shovels in the ground and went, here you go, have some soldiers coming back here, have some cheap places to rent. It was at that time, by comparison. I mean, it would have been, well, I don't know, San Francisco, who's to say, busier city then. You'd have to look at the statistics in the library, the old microfiche statistics. I'm getting beside the point. More empty lots, more main streets, everywhere you go in this town. I'm in New West on 12th. It's the 26th, I think it's the 26th of August, 2026. 15 years, I don't think anybody's going to do any building here. They're just going to keep it empty, and the neighbors pay more for their shit so that they can have the prestige of being on the main drag right by easy transit access. It's so stupid. They are so lying to you. Everybody in the real estate councils, everybody working in real estate, they've got brain damage, or they were born retarded, or they can't even be this unawares and lying to you. They have to be that, like, it's the point of gullibility. We're way over the tipping point, folks. Please, like, walk out in your own neighborhood and look around. The whole lower mainland is a fucking war zone aftermath of just random bombings, and you can't build here. But we need houses. Oh, but we need commercial space right on the main drag, so we have businesses, so that people have jobs, so that people have income to pay for those houses. Too expensive. They borrowed already too much money and said it's worth so much, way too much for you pleb to ever crap there anymore. Can't have that now, can we? Anyways, that's my fucking joint. I just keep going on. There's my fucking 3-minute video, for fuck's sakes. I'll go see if I can do a 3-minute video about the small houses.